how many people are doing it, and you see also how they're picking. So most people right now are saying current event, okay? Now, for the sake of time, I'm gonna click share, and now you guys should be able to see what everybody else was thinking as well, okay? So you can do this as a form of a quiz. I showed you a couple ways you can do formative assessments or just assessments in general. Then you go to another video, and then you have another one of those same assessments, okay? So for the sake of time, I am not gonna come out of this, okay? So what are some of your first impressions so far of Nearpod? Anybody? Has anyone used Nearpod before? Everybody? Has anybody on the call used Nearpod before? Okay, cool. I'm glad I'm selling you on Nearpod. It's my bread and butter. And again, I taught at Pebblebrook where students are a little different. And I had really good AP scores and EOC scores. And I say a lot of that is because of the interactivity that I was able to do with Nearpod. So I really love it. All right. So now let me tell you guys just some stuff that you can do in Nearpod. All right. And again, it's very, 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 very interactive. So this is where you take those PowerPoints and you can make it more interactive. So you went from death by PowerPoint to now being a super cool, energetic, interactive teacher that you all are. A couple things I want to show you. First thing I want to show you is the school library. The school library is where we can all share our materials or the presentations we made. So everybody probably knows I've done the cultural theory with some of my colleagues, Paul and Mark, so I shared that right here. I also shared a Nearpod I do from the first day of class. I took this out of the library that Nearpod gave us and I made some modifications. So this is something like I'll be doing on the first day of class when students come into the CTLS. If you click right here where it says Nearpod Library, this is where you have a lot of pre-existing, you don't have to do any work Nearpods, which is awesome because we all got 1,000 things to do, right? So for the sake of time and my comfortability, if you will, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of be selfish and biased. In a sense, I'm gonna pick the lessons I know. So I'm gonna click on lessons right here. You can do top social studies, you do those for you. Something I did not show in the last session, I'm glad I'm recording now. This is a new thing they started, videos, okay? So a lot of videos that you've used in classes, you can now do in Nearpod, and what's gonna do is gonna give you stop points. And those stop points are gonna give you places where you can have questions at. So in social studies, for example, and I know you guys probably all heard of them at least once or twice, a lot of teachers love using crash courses. Well, if you click on this particular crash course, these are already made. It comes with our account. Do I use what for every lesson? Can I get more specifics? What's our lesson? What was that, Krista? Yeah, the way I do is so before we start now, we got to go digital. I did it in flipped classroom. So what happened, I'm gonna show you a couple of my lessons. I do voiceovers, things like that. I use my Nearpod for the students to get the core material. That will be my lecture. Then we come to the classroom, do activities and hands-on stuff. So I did a full flip. They had to use a Nearpod to learn the material. So yeah, I really use this for, I say about 85% of my stuff. And I'll say that the other 10% was Prezi. And I still have voiceovers, and the Prezi would be me actually making a video. But yeah, Nearpod was my bread and butter, definitely. All right, so when you're doing these videos here, I can do a preview, which I'm gonna show you. You can decide if you wanna do a couple ways. You can do a teach, which would be live participation, which is what I did earlier. Student pace, this is when you do the flip or the asynchronous learning where the students do it by themselves, or you do it in front of a class, which is really good with the TVs we have at our disposal. You can pick here and you pick video questions for them. You can do is already done, and also transcripts. So I'll show you a preview so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, if you look here, you see these little blue dots. Those are places where the video is going to stop at in the middle of to actually force students to actually give you a question or they have to answer a question, which you'll then be able to get data from and grade them accordingly. You always can add questions to this as well too. But for the most part, these videos, you can make your own videos and do this with it. You can make your own, bring videos from YouTube and do this. So it makes it very, very interactive. That way the students is not watching the video, hearing the Clear Eyes commercial guy, and then just kind of zone out. They gotta be actively listening and watching, that way they can answer questions. I'm going to come out of this. So that's one feature you have. And that's a brand new feature that they just added this summer. Thought it was pretty cool. And what I really want to show is that this library has literally everything you will want. Think about an assignment you're trying to do. You can go here, type that assignment in. So like I'm gonna type in, for example, JFK. I teach US history predominantly. And here are some JFK lessons that I could just go ahead and use. In fact, I use this JFK lesson in my class and I just added some stuff to it. Talk about the assassination of JFK. Does anybody want to give me a sample topic? I can maybe type it in and see what happens.
Gentrification.
Nothing for gentrification. I kind of thought because I know, did I spell it right?
Yeah, you did.
I did, okay. It wasn't because actually, this is one of the few things I remember I had to actually make a presentation for. They did not have enough for gentrification. But the good thing is, if you find something they don't have a topic on, you can send a request and they'll make it for you.
And I had a really quick question.
Go ahead.
With what you're showing us, and maybe you answered this question already and I didn't hear it the first time. Is it like just, do we have to like have a paid account? Do we have to go through the school? Like when it comes like starting to like create Nearpod lessons, like I guess I just want to make sure
for you.
Sign up as an
This is
educator.
why. The schools already pay for a subscription for us. We have a free subscription, the full subscription with everything I'm showing you now until the end of this school year. And then we're gonna try to re-up every year. That's for both vocabulary and which I'm showing you right now. So you don't have to pay for anything. You can make, I'm gonna talk about how to make your own assignments in a minute, but you can do everything you want directly in here now. And I saw that Gene says cellular respiration. There you go. Sample assignment. You just use that assignment as is. You can click on it. Before you add it to your library, you can actually look through the presentation and see what it is. It tells you what kind of teaching materials you have, what you might need. It's already made for you the full lesson. And when you put into your library, you can delete stuff. It gives you your essential question or EQ. Tells you your learning objective. It gets the students, okay, the background, what the lesson is going to be over. Like, this is literally the whole lesson. And here they can start writing answers and drawing words to it. It's totally functional, totally done for you, saves you a lot of planning time. And it makes sure the students will be more interactive. And if you want to go ahead and put that there, you can. If you want to add it to the school library, you can. If you want to share with other teachers, you click on the share button as well. Okay. So if you look here, I have tons of lessons. I've been using Nearpod now for about 3 years. So I've accumulated a lot of lessons. And you can notice some of these I made and some I took from the library. They work totally fine on your cell phones. If you guys look here, because that question came up, because I use so much technology, I went and got some tablets donated by my mother-in-law's church. So I have like these little Kindle Fires. So it works just as fine with them doing that. It actually works better because if you saw like where you could draw at, you could use your finger. So it works fine on phones. As far as us in CTLS, what you will have to do is like what I showed you guys. I gave y'all the link for it. So you put that in your lesson and then students can just click on that link and go on from there. Okay. The reports, if you guys look right here, mind you, I have tons of reports, but like I click right here where it says reports, I click on the session. I'll be able to see student participation, how many got the answers right or wrong, how many did not answer the questions. And another thing I love is I get to see who did it, who did not do the work. So for all your data gathering, this is something you can use as well. If you already use Nearpod, all I did is hopefully now if you use the Cobb County email address, it should just give you the upgrade version. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's telling you upgrade. Krista, do you have it set up in your school account? Because I use all of our Cobb County email address when I set up our account.
Yeah, I used the Wheeler Magnet account last time, so it might just be that I have to use the Cobb County account. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to use the Cobb County email now.
Okay.
But if you call them, they might, if you have like presentations, they might be able to try to merge them over for you. It
okay.
might be kind of difficult, but you can try.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So that's how you get your data. Now let's talk about building a lesson. I'm gonna spend about another 8 minutes on Nearpod, then I'm gonna go over the vocabulary, then give a Q&A time, okay? My goal is sometime next week to do another Zoom where it's only Q&A, where you have questions about Nearpod vocabulary, I try to answer those questions. So you can do 2 different types of lessons. And you notice you say it's 3 here, but I'm saying 2. You can make a lesson straight from scratch, which is what I typically do, or you can make a video. The lessons in Google Slides, I have not had very much success with that. I'm just being honest, and I am certified in Nearpod, and I cannot get that to work right, so I'm not going to attempt to try to show anyone. If anybody figures it out, let me know to help me out. So the video is brand new. This is in beta mode. The reason I say that is because if you was in the cultural theory session, particularly the first one, you notice how everything went wrong because we were trying to use the video function. It works good in theory, and it shows you that little blue dots where it can stop, but it's still not fully functional. So I would say refrain from that unless you get, as you get better with it in practice. But let's look right here where it says lesson in Nearpod. What you can do here in Nearpod, literally use your PowerPoints and just go ahead and drag and paste them there. So I'm gonna go to an old presentation, or like I'm just gonna use a PDF. So I'm just gonna drop this PDF into the presentation. And then it's gonna just show up. So now that's the PDF that I made. It's a PDF viewer. I click on that. This is a PDF. So it's literally already done for you. You do the same thing for presentations. Now I want to add a slide. These are all the different things you can add. So talk about these for a moment. You can add a video, like say you want to add a video coming from YouTube. Can somebody give me, now 2 things. You can pick some of the videos that they already made. So like say if I want to use this video on Colonial America to start my discussion, I can go ahead and click this, or I can click some other ones too. And these are ones that's already been pre-made. Again, this feature just got started, so I have not got a chance to mess around with it a lot. My goal is on Monday to mess with it and get really good at it. So if I do the next Q&A, I have more details on it. But what I am good at is uploading my own videos. Like say I did a lot of my lectures, particularly once we went off of COVID, as a flip in the lecture. So I might just want to put that whole video here. YouTube, someone gives me a topic, please. Any topic
Plate
at all.
tectonics.
Huh?
Plate tectonics.
Cool. You don't even have to type the whole thing in, but you just click right here where it says Plate Tectonics Explained. Click Save. Now, what's gonna give you is the option to say, like, if you want to add activity, right? That's if you want to add a question. I'm gonna show you how to do that, but again, what I'm saying, it doesn't work perfectly yet.
The idea that our planet's...
Click right here, you get a question. You can either ask a multiple choice question, like say you want to do this for a formative assessment to see if they're listening, or use it as an open-ended question. Say you just want to just ask a question for them to answer. You type it in, you hit save, and then right when the video gets to that particular spot, it will stop the video and then ask them that question. This is something that they really got the idea from, because it does all the videos in vocabulary does this. But in Nearpod, I have found a lot of issues, shall I say. Okay, so that's a good one. I'm gonna cancel that. Cancel.
Oh
No. All right. You also can add slideshows. You can add web content. Meaning if you want them to just go directly to a web link, you can do that. Vocabulary video, I'm gonna come back to that. If you have something you want to do in 3D, you have a lot of different 3D options available to you. Simulations, they have simulations done. Virtual field trips. I love virtual field trips. So these are all, they have a lot of them already pre-done. And say, let's talk about Capitol in Washington, D.C. Let's do a preview. This is what it will look like. So you can move around. It's like they actually were there going around. And if a student has VR goggles, for example, and it's one thing I'm gonna talk to Paul about maybe getting us, this is how it look on a VR goggles. It's like they actually are really there. Makes them really simulate being there. Yes, you can use a video from another website other than YouTube. For example, you can use NASA. You would just have to put that in there. So yeah, you can do that too. So that's a really cool option. Students really love the idea of the virtual field trips, and especially now because of COVID, we're not going to be able to go on field trips. This will be a good alternative. You put in here a graphic calculator. You can use your BBC videos. You can use Sway videos. You can use slideshows. You can add audio to your slides and also view Twitter stream. Now, specifically, let's say you want to show a video that's from NASA. What you want to do is click right here where it says web content, and then you'll be able to add that video in there and you play it during your presentation. You also might want to add activities. So remember, earlier we did time to climb. You got open-ended question. Matching pairs is basically when you try to get that student that has the visual learner to where they're trying to match, like say apples and oranges. I'm gonna click on it real quick. This is really cool. So you just gotta basically match the pairs together and make sure it all goes. It gives them like a stream of different ones. You can make this for yourself. The activities that I love the most though is honestly gonna be the time to climb, the memory test, because you know how like you hit a card, you got to hit another card. If you got it wrong, it moves away. It's like that kind of same kind of game. The fill in the blanks, the polls, and then the collaborate we did already. Also, if you use Flipgrid, you can add Flipgrid to this as well. So that's a lot of the functionality of Nearpod. Let me go ahead and go to Flocabulary now, and then give you some time for Q&A. All right. So Flocabulary, I had Mr. Barnes send the email out to the whole staff, talk about make sure everybody can get on access to that. Flocabulary is literally Schoolhouse Rocks, if you will, on steroids. So I know a topic came up was plate tectonics. So you say this is what you do. So obviously tells you the grade level right here. There's a lot of resources you can use. I'm gonna show you how to make your own class. That way you can start assigning students work. Okay, so you can decide how fast and how slow you want the video to go. So I'm gonna give you guys an example. So we're gonna play this video. I'm gonna go at the slowest speed possible, and then I'm gonna wrap it up a little bit, okay? So watch how it goes. And this is very good if you have students that have maybe hearing disabilities or you just want them to go slower.
Hey yo, you ever thought about what's beneath the Earth's surface? Wouldn't it be crazy if we could dig a hole straight through? Well, I hate to break it to you, but you can't. In reality, even the deepest holes we dig are just barely scratching the surface of the earth. But what we can do is study the layers of the earth and talk about plate tectonics. You with me? Come on. The earth is made of rock, but it's not that simple. There's 4 layers to it, the inner core's in the middle. It's made mostly of iron, you gotta love it. Very hot yet solid due to the layers above it. They cause pressure, keep it real solid. Next up, the outer core is what I call it. Less pressure but real hot, so it's liquid. Free flowing metal. Is this picture vivid? There's currents in the molten rock. After the core is the mantle, it don't stop. It's mostly silent.
Did you guys notice the difference there?
Yes.
Okay. And that's something that can help students depending on what you got going on in your classroom. And the students can do that themselves too. Now, let's get into the fun part, all right? So you have teacher resources right here. You click on that. It tells you exactly what's going on. It gives you your vocabulary, which is pretty good. Say when we're doing our unit plans, a little bit less work to do. You click right here where it has handouts. Here is a handout you can print and give to students. Of course, in an online atmosphere, you can give it to them as a PDF and then change it over to a Word document so they can type in it or what have you. You also have like fill in the blanks. I really use the fill in the blanks a lot. I would say definitely do this, especially when we get back to on ground teaching, where the students, they will listen to the rap, and as the rap goes, this is why that slow or slowest mode really comes into play. They can actually write in their answers, responses, which forces them to keep working and make sure they really pay attention to the video. You also have vocabulary. Flocabulary is all about vocabulary, and a lot of our students have issues with vocabulary, which is why this is a useful tool. So what students can do here, they can read the word, they can read the definition to get an example of it. Then they have a choice of either writing the word or they can draw the word. They also have something called reading responses. All the quizzes that's already made in Flocabulary is based on both the video, I'll say about 60 to 70%, and then the remainder is off these deep responses, where students can then just read this information here, the stimulus question, and then answer based down here. Another thing they can do is a vocabulary game, where the beat builds based on how well they do on the assignment. So where the contents were grouped all together in the past, the tectonic place calls false. That was wrong. It tells them what the right answer is, but you notice the beat doesn't change. They have it's a scored assignment here. So you drag the word to the right direction or to the right definition. When it's right, it's wrong. When it's wrong, it tells you the wrong one, and it tells you the right one. And the students keep doing this. So they can keep doing it for more and more practice, but it makes them really get better at it. And the encouragement is when the beat gets better. The one thing I love to do a lot, and this is probably something I'm gonna show you guys more in the next section. I'm gonna show you guys some videos where my students did. They can make their own raps now. So they can pick their own beats down here. They have a slew of a library of beats they can make. Okay. And then what they will do is make a rap using the key vocabulary. Okay. That's really good. And then if you want to do a form of assessment, you also got the quiz. Now, this is how you can do it. If you ever have questions, you go to here right here to where it says how to use vocabulary. But let me show you how to make a class where you can assign stuff. Click right here where it says create class. You guys want to worry about subscription because I'm still in 2 schools. You type in the name of the class. So I'm saying ethnic studies, fall 2020. I also only got 1 period of it. I'm going to say it's a 10th grade class because it starts from 10th through 12th. The subject will then be social studies. I'm going to click this button here. That way I'm allowed the read to function if they want to go ahead and read it on their own and create a new class. What you will have to do maybe on the first day of class is provide them with this link and this code here. That way they can join the class. Once they join the class, you can then assign work, okay? So I can create an assignment here. I want all my students to do it, or you can also differentiate. I'm gonna show you how to do that in a second. You want to assign the students, I'm gonna say 45 presidents, right? I'm gonna select the activities. I will always say make sure you select the video because you want them to watch the video. But then say you want them to do the quiz, you can do that. The vocabulary cards, this is where they can write. You can decide on what cards you want them to do because maybe all these you don't want the students to do, but only some of them. You can select which card you want them to do. The vocabulary game, where they do the beat, you can assign that to everybody as well. Then you can select a due date. Once that due date hits, the assignment will be then closed. This would be something, again, outside of CTLS, but something you still could use. Okay. So now I'm gonna go to one of my old classes for you guys can see that. All right, so this is one of my old classes. If I wanted to create an assignment, now I might not want to create this for all my students. I'll just unclick, and then based on the students I need to remediate, vocabulary is really good for remediation, maybe post assessments or between assessments. I'll just click on what students I want to use. So now only those 3 students are going to get the assignment that I'm going to select here. Select the lesson, 50 states and capitals. Note, Flocabulary is different in Nearpod. Nearpod uses all the videos from Flocabulary, but this right here, this is actually a Flocabulary, okay? So I went to flocabulary.com for this to get where I'm at right now. Then I'm gonna select activities. Again, click the video. I might click I like the vocabulary cards because I really want the students to get better with the vocabulary and use it a whole lot. But then I also can maybe pick Lyric Lab. And what I did here is I customized the prompt. So I did this based off your grade right here. So let's say if you had a 69 or below, I want you to do just 4 lines using vocabulary. If you're between a 70 and 80, I had you do 6 lines. And then if you are 80 or above, I had you do maybe 8 lines. Because the students that are already doing good in the class, I want to challenge them to use more vocabulary words and really try to flush it out. Students that are not doing so good, I had them do less words. So you can differentiate that right there. It's also be visible today, but you also can change it. Say you want to be visible tomorrow. The due date, you can do that for whatever day you want to have. Again, it's not going to give you necessarily a time, but once it comes up, like I think it's at 12 a.m. the next day, and then it's going to close out for them. Okay, let me close it because I don't want to send these old students any kind of work. Now, let me show you how vocabulary works with Nearpod. So go ahead and click add slide and add a vocabulary video. And let's say you're making your Nearpod. Now, when you're making your Nearpod, they will not be able to do these other activities in Nearpod. Does everybody got me on that? Yay, nay. I'm assuming that's gonna be a yay. Cool, thank you. All right, so then here you can just pick whatever topic you want to go. Because I got plate tectonics stuck in my mind. It's the same videos in Nearpod. Now go ahead and add this to my presentation. So now my lesson here is on plate tectonics. I can show them this vocabulary video. All they be able to do here is show the video. Then I have to go back over. Notice I'm going back to that vocabulary. If I want to post an assignment, in theory, I do not have to post a video here. I can just post, hey, I want you guys to do the lyric lab. I want you guys to do the vocabulary, where I want you guys to do. That's what I do here. So vocabulary, just to go back and recap this. And then I'm gonna open up the question and answer and give myself some water. Vocabulary is a one-stop shop where you can give your whole lesson as far as just using the vocabulary videos, okay? So if I pick here, mixtures and compounds. If I want to assign this to a class, I click right there. I pick what class I want to assign. I can pick the students I want to assign it to. Select activity. So vocabulary is where you can actually give them work. This is the benefit of us having a subscription. We can assign students the work. Then over here in Nearpod, we can just show them the video and say maybe as an introduction to the new lesson for the day. Okay. Any questions or give me your questions? What y'all got? Hopefully you're excited. This looks like it's gonna be something fun, something you're gonna use. And again, it's very engaging. The question assignments, we talk about in vocabulary, right? Okay. If I assign, okay, I'll go to the old class. If I assign everybody the vocabulary game and the reading response, they will have to do all those, okay? Particularly if you're saying you'll be for a grade. Now, I have done this in differentiation. I assign everybody maybe this one activity. So then this is what I'm gonna do. Students that did not do good on the formative, I say you guys do reading response. So it's like everybody that got less than 75% on the unit 1 formative, you guys gotta do reading response. Students that got between 80 and 90, you have to do the vocabulary game. I mean, vocabulary cards. Then everybody did 90 or above will have to do the vocabulary game. That's what you could type into CTLS. Is there got me on that? That way they know what they can do. So that's one way you can differentiate. But otherwise, wherever you click here, it's gonna show you a grading area where they have to, where you can go back and grade them. I'm gonna see, can I show that to you guys right now? Yeah, I don't have no pass. So this is kind of old. Let me see, can I go to some of my other classes? There any other questions? Go ahead and ask me those questions. Any other questions? As you can see, I've been doing this a lot. I didn't know I had this many classes. All right, let's see what this is. Okay, this is my OAP class. All right, so yeah, past assignment. So this is where you can see where it has to be graded at. That's why I wanted to show you guys. So here you click on, it tells you how many students did it, how many students didn't do it. And here I gave the video and then also the reading response. You can see that in various places. In the lyric lab, talk about where you can grade it at. I'm gonna click there. I can see which students did it, which ones didn't. Did I click here where it says grade? And then here's her assignment. So then I can go ahead and you can see where I gave them differentiation based on the grade. And this is where she did her assignment. She made her own rap using the vocabulary. And as she uses the vocabulary, it goes green out. That way she could tell what she did. And then I could just go ahead and give the points earned out of 10 and then make any kind of comments I want to make as well, give them the feedback. Then I'll have them go back into vocabulary so they can see their feedback. So that's how you can grade their work. And you also can export it, so you need to show this to an administrator or anything like that. You can do that as well. Any other questions on Flocabulary or Nearpod? Any questions, y'all? Oh, you're very welcome. Again, I'm biased because I use Nearpod all the time in Flocabulary, and it really worked with my students. I even had I have an account for just my kids. It works with them. My son has such a deficit in reading, and by just teaching them how to read this and showing them comic books, he made a jump between like in about a 2-month time period by using this Flocabulary and reading comic books. He went up 4 reading levels. So this can work. It can definitely work a lot. So you're very welcome, man. I'm just grateful that school was down to be able to see this. And that's why I use it in my interview. So it's second nature to me now, but I really do understand this is something everybody can use to be very good. Are there any other questions or concerns, people? Okay, I'm assuming it's not. This is now my 6th session of the day, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off and not talk for like the next 3 hours. So I appreciate all you guys. I hope this is very beneficial. I hope you enjoy using Flocabulary in your classroom, Flocabulary and Nearpod in your classroom. If you ever have any kind of questions or concerns, please let me know. And you guys have a beautiful and blessed day. Take it easy, everybody.